Yeah. They don't know. Can I just bring up? They can design something.
It's gonna be such a small town.
That's probably kind of, I don't feel it.
I did sign it. I am calling this Board of Zoning and Appeals meeting to order. Everyone's present. Can we all rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of Allegiance.
Jesus to the flag, United States of America. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Okay. Did everybody have a chance to review the minutes? I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Kane,
Here.
Ali,
Here.
Masterson,
Here.
Thibodeau,
Here.
who was excused, members of the administration, Chief Building Official Person,
Here.
Assistant Law Director Morgan,
Here.
Planning and Economic Development Director Lieber,
Here.
Council Liaison Winkle.
Here.
I did. Steve, would you like to give a planning commission report?
Sure. Planning commission last meeting, when we went over the zoning and codes to discuss proposed updates and zoning code regarding parking, loading, lighting, and commercial drives. And it's still under review.
Thank you very much. Are there any other reports or correspondence to come in front of the board? Master plan update?
Oh, sorry, I'll go. So North Ridgeville has a new master plan steering committee. We had our first meeting December 7th with planning consultant Brian Ashworth, a Ohio-based company, Planning Next, they're called out of Columbus. It's made of approximately 30 people, representing diverse skills and backgrounds, and is organized by our own Director of Planning and Economic Development, Kevin Lieber. Our first meeting, 7th, pretty much entailed coming up with a brand for the steering committee. And at that time, we'll promote it to the public once it's voted for by the committee and approved. We'll have 2 open forums for residents the next year. I'm not sure exactly when they'll be, but they'll be posted on the city webpage. It's going to be a year-long process. So there'll be plenty of time for residents to put in their 2 cents for insight. Something like that. Next meeting is a closed meeting, but is it January 11th? From 3.
PPD 2022-0153 Sergeant Clean Car Wash 32499 Marine Road. PPN 07-00-003-102-065. Applicant Always Stay Unlimited. LLC. Business is Sergeant Clean Car Wash 3673 Maxwell Road, Uniontown, Ohio 44685. Proposal consists of a new full service car wash. Property is on B3 Highway Commercial District. Request 1, a 7.5 foot variance for side yard setback west. Applicant shows 7.5 feet. Code requires a minimum of 15 feet. 1268.04B3A. And secondly, an 8.29 foot variance for some of side yard setbacks. Applicant shows 26.71 feet. Code requires a minimum sum of 35 feet. Section 1268.04B3A. Chief Building Official Person's comments. 1268.04 B3 zoning requires the sum of the side yards shall not be less than 35 feet on each side yard, shall not be less than 15 feet. Applicant proposing sum of side yards to be 26.71 feet, requiring an 8.29 foot variance. Applicant proposing west side yard to be 7.5 feet, requiring a 7.5 foot variance. Sign package information was not provided, all else appears code compliant.
Is there anybody here to speak on this matter?
There is indeed.
Are you the only one going to speak on this matter?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yep, my name is Greg Siebert, representing Sergeant Clean, 3675 Cleveland Aspen Road, Uniontown, Ohio.
Okay, do you swear or affirm that the statements you are about to make before the zoning and building board of appeals for the city of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of the law of perjury?
I do,
Okay, would you like to give us a little explanation of your project?
certainly, and I hopefully had a chance to read through the write-up. I'm very familiar with working through the various process, so went to your zoning code and brought the reasons for granting variance and put them in writing there for you. As stated in the that narrative, you know, I don't know if the zoning code really anticipated a site of this interesting shape. This is a wedge, it's a triangle. It's very difficult to put a rectangular building in the center of a triangle, but that's what we have done. Typically, a Sergeant Clean car wash would have the canopy, which is where the pay stations are located, separate from the building, but because of the shape and size of the site, we had to move that canopy to and attach to that southwest corner of the building. Therefore, it became part of the building and under the need for this variance. So we did reduce the length of that canopy to cover only a portion of the second queuing lane to minimize as best we could the variance that we were requesting here. If we removed the canopy, overall, we would meet the qualifications of the other variance, which is the 35 feet, adding the two sides together. So really it's the canopy here that, because it's part of the building, it's only a small portion of that side of the building here for variance, and we're going to answer any other questions you might have.
The reason why we're here is
Yep.
for unique and interesting pieces of property that come into play. Does look like you were really quite thorough on all of your requirements meeting setbacks. Is there anybody on the board that has any questions in regards to this building?
I think it's a unique layout of the property. We'll use the space. Space there.
It is in. James, oh, do you just think it's a good?
Can't believe they fit it all in that standard piece of property. I mean, it's very well laid out, it's very well thought out. And if they didn't use canopies, then there probably wouldn't be a need for setback requirements. So, yeah, I think they did a good job.
Steve, did you say?
The architect earned his money on this project here. I don't see any issues and problems.
Okay. Thank you. Administration? Anybody in the audience want to speak on behalf of this matter? All right, the chair will entertain a motion.
I move we accept.
Kane,
Yes.
Ali,
Yes.
Masterson,
Yes.
Thibodeau,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time tonight, especially in light of the Christmas a couple days from now and this storm of the millennium. So thank you very much for your time and efforts.
Hang on for a second.
No, sir.
This one.
$2,000 shot.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, please don't come in tomorrow morning. Okay, please read the next application.
PPZ 2022-0155, Lorraine County Health and Dentistry, 35557 Satellite Road. PPN 07-00-021-117-06 and 07-00-021-117-088. Applicant Christine Raymond, Asmar Architects, 1468 West 9th Street, Suite 400, Cleveland, Ohio, 44113. Proposal consists of constructing a medical dental office building. Property is zoned B3 Highway Commercial District. Requests a 25-foot variance for front building setback. Applicant requests 25 feet, code requires 50 feet, section 1268.04 B1. Building official persons comments. 1268.04 B1, B3 zoning requires a 50-foot front yard. Applicant requesting 25-foot front yard requiring a 25-foot variance. BZA approval required.
Are you the only one going to speak on behalf of this matter?
Yes, I'm Christine Raymond, and I will present the project. I do have with me tonight ownership representatives, where's my employee take in case of any questions.
Okay, so. Did you get her name? Okay. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you are about to make before the zoning and building board of appeals for the city of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of the law of perjury?
I do.
Thank you. Proceed.
Oh, okay, so we are here requesting, as explained, the variance for the front yard setback only. The setback, as noted, was 50 feet is the requirement, and we are asking for a variance of 25 feet. The reasoning for this is a few things. Based on the buildable area of the site being limited by the regulated floodway to the south, we have positioned the parking lot and the building as far north as we can. 25-foot setback will also allow us to be more compatible with the surrounding neighborhoods along the neighbors to each side, as well as other properties on Center Ridge Road. To maintain that streetscape, positioning the building as we have shown will provide some regularity along Center Ridge Road. The building to the east is about 23 to 28 feet from the right of way. And the bank is, as you can see, is closer than that. However, the bank property line isn't in alignment with ours. Then the other benefit of locating it farther to the north, as we're showing, is visibility from Center Ridge Road of the building, which will improve safety of vehicles approaching the site, patients coming and going from the building itself.
Well, you did a very nice presentation and a very good explanation of why you needed it. And I do agree, being the appearance to a very thoughtful presentation. Any of the board have any questions? Administration have any comments?
Okay. Madam Chair, I just comment when it was in planning commission and that slide that was up before, one of the major comments was that it still seems to be in line with setbacks of other buildings in that.
Oh, thank you very much for sharing that. I appreciate that. And I do appreciate the fact that I believe engineering is quite happy with them not being in the floodplain and staying as far away from that as possible. We are doing a great job in controlling our flooding, and let's just keep trying to do that. So I did not say that earlier, and I just stated that. So is anybody in the audience here to speak on behalf of this matter? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to accept.
Meeting,
Yes.
Salim,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Thibodeau,
Yes.
motion carried unanimously.
Thank you very much.
EPB 2022-0157, Vans Auto Service and Tire Pros. 37775 Center Ridge Road, PPN 07-00-034-000-136. Applicant Jeremy Wetzel. Agent 37775 Property LLC, 3960 Summit Road, Morton, Ohio 44203. Proposal consists of modification of existing pole sign. Property is zone B3 Highway Commercial District. Requests a variance for 100% changeable copy on pole sign. Code allows up to 50% changeable copy. Section 1286.05C1A notes proposed new sign is 50 square feet. Chief Building Official first comments. 1286.05C1A pole signs allow 15 square foot of changeable copy. Pole sign changeable copy cannot exceed 50% of the total sign face. Applicant requesting 50 square foot changeable copy sign covering the entire 50 square foot, requiring a 35 square foot changeable copy variance. 50 minus 15 equals 35 and 100% covering of the total sign face variance. Would you like to state your name?
Yes, my name is Dean Schreier, from Sign Company. Jeremy got stuck in Las Vegas. He was supposed to be here. His flight isn't getting here because of the weather, I guess. So I didn't get that. I work with advanced projects on the installation and stuff, so I
Okay, and your address, sir?
41431 Shannon Road, Elyria, Ohio.
I need to swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the statements that you are about to make before this Zoning and Building Board of Appeals for the City of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of the law? Want to just proceed?
Yeah, this is sort of a unique situation. The existing sign that's up there right now is about 60 square feet. It's 6 foot by, I think, 12 foot. Usually in the last 30 or 40 or 50 years of signage, you'd have an ID sign that would list the name. If people wanted to have a changeable message, we put a people copy sign, usually they were white with plastic letters and change around. And then when people got digital message boards and decided, well, we won't have a changeable copy sign like that, but with digital board and that'll go underneath, we'll still have a name tag for our main sign. And so that's how your code is written. So usually you'll have your main ID sign, you'll have a changeable copy sign, which they could do, but they feel that it's going to be cluttery by having too many signs that they're white. You can see the signage on the building, big, large, looks beautiful. You can see it up and down the road. And so their idea is, why have another ID sign out of this particular? They would just like to have a digital board. And what they do is every 4 messages, put up their Vans logo, and then go back to a higher message or whatever. So we didn't know what to do. They thought they'd come and get a variance. I don't know if that's what to do or just call this sign. It's a message censorship. You can put anything. If you wanted, you can move your main ID logo up there and never change it, which might happen in the future where people, every sign will just be a digital board, and whatever new tenant comes in, they get the logo there and it just stays up there. So this is where we're at. They like the, you can see the blue sign that they got there now. That's the representation for a 50 square foot digital board. They like to put up there, remove the big sign and just have just that one time. If the corner is pretty, you got a lot of action on that under the traffic. You could put another message from underneath that I think would clog up the whole of the whole sign. Too many signs, but that's up to you guys to decide whether it's right or wrong. But the whole idea with the message sending be just a copy people copy board. It's not going to be just a copy people copy center. It's also going to list their main ID, but every 4 messages. And I'm sorry, my coach. Struggling.
You're doing a really good job. And then, you're having a really good attitude considering the poor man got stuck in Vegas.
2 hours ago.
Okay.
So, he extended the vacation,
Poor guy. Your heart breaks for a poor man stuck in Vegas. It's a reason why we're here is because there are times when what our sign ordinances are in place And I think we're in the process of revamping our sign ordinances. If this were. If our new sign ordinance was in place, it wouldn't meet the criteria at all.
Yeah, sure not, for the current draft that we've been in discussion with.
Okay, so. We're planning on, well, we can't do with something that we're planning on doing, we have to do what's in place right now. Chief building official, first, and the gentleman said that he can put 2 signs on this pole,
The ID sign and the changeable copy, yes.
so he can put 2 signs of the same size.
No. The whole sign would be 60 square feet, which is, I think, the equivalent of what's there now. And a changeable copy could be an additional 15 square feet. So it'd be 75 square feet.
So it would be even larger than what it is.
Yes, it could be.
Does any of the board members have any questions in regards to this matter?
And the only problem or issue, but it's in a high accident area, it is a very busy location for traffic wise. I'm just worried about people. My only concern is people looking at it, reading it. More exits than possible. It's the only concern. Size wise, seems like they're within.
Is that the only sign like that that would be coming on Center Ridge, in your opinion?
As far as I know,
It's the only sign on Center Ridge that would be
yeah, there's nothing else on Center Ridge.
like the marked sign by chance,
It's further down, mile and a half down.
and it's still in the same
If they
area.
read that sign and don't pay attention, they can crash too. That's just.
Correct. This is.
No matter what sign you put up there, if they're not paying attention. they're gonna crash.
The digital message boards are, the new thing. One thing that cities, if you guys are changing the code, it's one thing for the digital message boards, which I think across the state and other states also is. The biggest thing is regulating message content. Like I never tell people to change the content more than 45 seconds. You know, you're not having it flash every 5 seconds. If you look down at the big highway signs, when you're going down, you see those, they give you ample time. It's not like a flashing thing. And so that's really the thing is these are gonna be messages that are like, boom, here's this one, this one. It's not a flashing situation. It's gonna be a image, you'll be up there for 40 seconds, then it goes to another image. It's not a fast paced change, flashing situation.
Thibodeau, do you have any comments?
Just looking at this to be pretty much a reduction for space that's actually allowed.
It'll look beautiful. I mean, it will be nice. I mean, Las Vegas or anything like that. And pretty soon, it was funny, I went to Burger King and also they had the digital message boards. And to think of the time saved to change things and how clean it looked, and then it just eventually pretty all the signs were digital.
Not
So
changed,
you're
but-
gonna speak on behalf of this matter, I do have to swear. you.
Oh, I'm just on, board minutes, you know, okay.
It's a conflict.
Yeah, you can't say,
You have to come in and.
Do you want to swear?
I can't.
I'm aware of it. If you don't, that's something.
I just need you to do, I need you to state your name
Jacob Schramm,
and your address.
41431 Shadden Road, Elyria, Ohio.
Do you swear or affirm that the statements you are about to make before the zoning and building board of appeals for the city of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of the law of perjury?
I do.
Thank you.
If you guys have ever gone to like Youngstown, they are actually booming with signage. And the new thing is digital boards as their marquee signs. Because they're getting rid of the plastic. It's a pain, you know, you see a panel get changed out or one stays up there for 15 years, it gets yellow, dingy. And so now they're going to these big digital and then they just make it so it's the multi-tenant on there and they look very beautiful. I mean, if you go out to Boardman Pullman Road out in Youngstown, they've got like 4 of them on there now. And there's 20 footers by probably 15 foot and they are beautiful signs. And that's like the new thing coming up now. Instead of just regular ID sign with multi-tenant, they're going all digital and it's the way of the future now.
Oh,
So,
I understand.
yeah, I'm just, one thing I'm looking at other cities, and we're all over the place, so anytime I see something like that, it's pretty interesting, you know?
My digital.
So,
Mr. Ferguson, do you have any comments?
Just correct me if I'm mistaken, but the applicant informed me that he was also going to display public service messages on this sign.
He wanted to let you know that that's available to you guys if you would, to help make it more appealing to you guys. And Josh, as the owner, he's a really great guy. He would do whatever you put, they'll arrange it. What, if you guys are interested, he would do whatever. He's a very great guy.
Well, we have several other signs similar in the city, and both business owners have done the same.
It's very nice for the community out.
Moderator, Morgan?
Yeah, on that particular topic, I noticed some of the information that was submitted to us. It's worded, and I know the board's already aware of this, I just want to make sure that it's on record. In exchange for being granted the variance, they would do community service messages, and that won't have any impact, and the board already knows this on whether they grant it or they don't.
I understand that.
And Madam Chair, if I could, when I look at the wording that the CBO has given, and then I look at the economic director's wording, the interpretation's a little bit different. And each one is how many square foot they could have. But the bottom line is they only want 50, which is, as you pointed out, a reduction. But the bottom line is they just wanted 100% changeable cost as opposed to any other kind of sign. And that's where you need to focus. If you feel comfortable doing that.
May I make one more suggestion? If you call it a changeable copy sign, then it's a changeable copy sign. Or you could also call it the only sign. If you have a changeable copy sign, the assumption is usually you would have a main ID sign.
And
So this, I would say a message changer that is the main ID sign.
right, but that's the way it's
So many
going to are working. So that's why we're following.
No problem.
Is there any other concerns that you have? Assistant Law Director Morgan?
Anytime something is 100% change, I always am a little reticent on that because it's sort of saying, let's ignore what it says entirely, not in part, but entirely. But I leave it to the board's consideration.
Planning Director.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, the code does allow up to 50% changeable copy on a sign. In this case, I don't believe that the applicants really declared the hardship as to why this property is so unique that 100% changeable copy would be required, that they can't meet the standard. They currently do meet the standard of our sign code. I'm worried that it could just set a precedent for other businesses that want 100% changeable copy because they want more message area on their signs. So I know we're in the midst of a sign code update, still have many steps to go, but even in our discussions of creating new restrictions for signs, you know, we have not discussed going 100% digital or 100% changeable copy. We've still talked about keeping some proportion of static message and some proportion of changeable message.
Have you thought of doing?
If I could interject again, so like on a big changeable copy message center like that, because it's all computerized, you could have the top part say Vans digitally and only have the bottom half change. That's the thing about, is the semantics of calling it a changeable copy sign versus a message center. A message center, a changeable copy sign is usually something that only displays multiple images, where this could be, this is the main ID sign. There's gonna be no other sign as an ID in a changeable copy. And that's how I look at it from the last 40 years of signage. So you have a main ID sign and a changeable copy sign. That's why this is more or less the ID sign that's, because it's digital, has capabilities of changing its message or changing its logo. Some companies have different logos. I got a calendar of a concrete company, and they had every month a different logo with the same concrete company. You could have a message center that changes logo. In Christmas time, maybe you had a green logo and a more Christmassy logo. The Vans logo with Christmas ornaments. That's the difference And that even if you'll have the work in your future when you're working on your sign code, is that identify those changes of the capabilities of future signs. So this is the main ID sign that can also do messages.
Is it possible to have it fixed 50% and then only 50% being a changeable sign?
They could do it in the computer, but it wouldn't be a permanent thing, because it's digital, just like when you went in and changed something, in 5 seconds, you can make the whole thing digital.
But okay, so.
Like, it wouldn't be a permanent, so if you said, well, you can only do this, they'd have to say, okay, we will only do it, only 50% of it, that's what I'm saying, it's digital. If I went back in there, even though I could change it in 5 seconds, because you're just programming the image, whatever image I load, it would load and do that. So I want you to understand both sides. So if you said, well, we want you to use 40% of your digital display for this, or 40%. Yeah, you couldn't force it, I wouldn't try to say that you could hold something to that, because you're gonna go out there, because I think you'd be opening up a can of worms or trying to regulate that.
So you're basically telling me that if I have all or nothing?
No, what I'm saying is I wanted you to understand, make your decision the way you want to make your decision. But I want you to understand how the technology actually works. It's just like, if you have a computer screen, and you're making a picture, whatever picture you send, that's the picture that's gonna go to that message.
And I understand that, but what I was asking you, because our board is quasi judicial.
Mhm.
And if we set a restriction on your variance, if you are non-compliant with that request, then you have to take the sign down.
I completely understand. If
I'm
you- Whatever
just
plan
making-
you set, I'm sure God will follow 100%.
Law Director Morgan?
What's your question?
The question is, can we put a restriction of 50% being part of the sign and only 50% of it being changeable copy?
But allowed to be digital. You know, yes, can you do something? Most things, there's a way to do it. I don't think I would advise it. It sort of defeats the purpose of a digital sign. Plus, the ordinance already is written sort of in a half and half way. Then they would have an argument, they don't need a variance.
The problem is enforcement. If it's digital and it's changeable 100% and you try to lock 50, they're gonna do what they wanna do. And then you're gonna have to enforce it.
And who's gonna guard dog it? Exactly, they would do it, but I'm sure.
Not saying he would, but
For sure.
if somebody's going to test the limit provision.
That's not,
Still variance.
they do need variance. They want
If they want to do this.
to change the copy digital sign. Even if they want to do that, it's still the type of sign they're asking for. Even if they say we'll never change the top so many inches of it. They still need the variance to make it all 100% the digital sign. And they are going smaller.
And that's how I would look at it, if you got deeper into it, for the phone part, I would look at it as, it's just a digital display. There's gonna be, you're getting rid of, there's no ID sign because there's plenty of building sign. And I would roll on it whether you want it or don't want it based on that.
I think your timing, because we're in the middle of some changes going on and everybody has strong opinion about whether it should go or not. But the people who make the decision are our board.
I would like to have a 5-minute recess
No,
and come back in 5 minutes.
you can take one, whatever you want.
No, 5 minutes.
Right. All right. Yeah, it's all. We are all good.
Can you get that back? Thank you.
I call this meeting of the Board of Zoning and Appeals back to order.
Can I speak? You are wait.
Could you just give it a moment?
Thank you. You didn't know the procedure. Right?
That's okay.
Okay, my apologies, this is kind of unusual for us. The chairman wanted to speak to me because there's a little discomfort. And I'm directing my comments to asking Mr. Ali because his business is so similar to the one in front of us that in order to avoid the appearance of impropriety, if you would agree to not vote on
Sure. No problem.
and not discuss it further. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Okay. All right,
Sir.
continue, Madam Chairman.
I just wanted to show if anybody wants to see it. I have a picture of a sign. This is another example of how digital displays are moving forward. And this is a big giant digital display with in a plaza. And so it's got the Tiffany Plaza crossings. And then what they do is all their tenants are digitally represented on the sign. So when the tenant leaves, there's nobody putting a new panel in, or the panels get yellowed. They get to just change it. We think it's fascinating because it's our industry.
Yeah, start with Jane.
Yeah, I certainly agree. That was really just to show you how interesting. So the whole thing's digital, even though those don't move around. It's not a message center. If it's changing, it's good. You can change it every couple of years, but it comes in or it stays that way forever.
So this is one big board,
This is one, yeah, this whole square thing is a giant board.
so they can individually.
They can, you want to put a section in there, a new tenant comes in, there's no, you going out to the sign and mess with their loose retainers. You ever see a sign, there's a retainer hanging in their face. So that's what I'm saying, how interesting it is with the new technology. Just to let everybody.
No, you don't need it because I don't vote on it.
Oh, no, problem, but I wanted you to understand. Thank you, thank you.
Does anybody else have anything else to add in regards to this matter?
Yes, question. I'm not sure what even. I think maybe the law director, who would actually even. Police sign. If it's. Violation or whatever.
It's a complaint driven process and they look at it.
Yeah, I just didn't know.
and do
That's all
some
that's-
enforcement.
I do think the sign will look good. The sign that's been up there, that was there when Johnson's was there a long time ago. It's a new updated sign that's fresh. I don't think it'll detract from the city. I don't think it'll be safety hazard at all. I think it'll just add enhancement, but being said, that's all I can say.
Would it be possible to have Director Lieber explain to me how you came up with the 50%? So you and Commissioner or building official person have a difference in opinion as to what the request is.
Yes, Madam Chair, in the BZBA staff report, I cut and paste the section of the codified ordinance. And it does say, additional square footage is permitted on a full sign if changeable content is included. But I'm reading just that last half of the sentence. Provided that the changeable copy area does not exceed 1/2 the total sign face area. So total sign face area to me is total of all sign face on that whole sign. So there's a additional allocation when they choose to include changeable copy, but then the 50% controls the total. So 1/2 the total sign base area. They didn't say, you know, they could have 15 square feet of changeable copy period. They said 1/2 the total sign base area. So if the total sign base area is 50 square feet, then I apply half to that. But regardless, there's a variance for 100%. You know, in both interpretations, we're basically coming down at the same place where, you know, there's a pole sign proposed with 100% changeable copy, and we definitely agree our code does not permit that.
Would you like us to table this for a month and you can come back and give us?
If you wanna think about it, if you think that, I don't mind tabling it.
No, what I'm trying to explain to you, I have to be a little bit clearer. You're asking for 100% variance. That's a really hard pill to swallow.
I think this is a situation, my personal, I told Jeremy that he gave me the stuff. My personal opinion is that he's asking for the wrong thing. I don't believe you should give him a variance. I think it should just be an ID sign that can be changed. There is no variance needed. It should be a 50 square foot main ID sign, but it has changeable characteristics. That's why he went for a variance, because it's a new thing. It doesn't really fit into your code.
We have signed. Okay. I understand what you're trying to say. Thank you very much for your very passionate. So the individual person, is this the only sign like this in the city that would be created? To the best of your recollection, because for some reason the marked sign keeps popping into my head.
Yeah. Marks isn't 100% changeable copy.
It's got a fixed part and then it
Yes,
changes.
it does.
copy.
And even the sign up at Aces, or the old Aces, now Hops Brothers, had Hops Brothers and had a significant changeable copy, but it wasn't the entire sign.
So if I were, so what I can do is I can tell you, as the chair, I have a problem, huge problem granting 100% variance. If I'm going to vote on this, I'm letting you know that I have a hard time with 100%. Right? So I'm giving you the option of, I'm not forcing you to do whatever you want to do. You can ask to table this for a month, or I can proceed with my meeting.
I'd like to table it for a month, but I'd like to try to get some direction on the verbiage for the variance, because in my, you understand my position. It's a main ID sign, not necessarily a table copy sign. If
And
I,
I understand, but what our board does is we sit there and you present. I can't tell you what the.
you're looking at exactly what's presented.
Right.
Okay, yes, why don't we table it? Because I can let them understand your position, because then I understand you guys are leery about saying, yes, you can have this 100%, because it sets a precedent that other people might want 100%.
And even though that we are looking at changing our sign ordinances,
And I understand where your sign ordinance is there, right? Because when you're originally doing a sign with an ID sign and a table copy, you're not gonna just have the whole thing. Right?
we do have a problem with signs, so,
Okay.
all right.
Yeah,
so-
I'd like to table it, and I'll maybe go try to resubmit it a different way, or talk to the guy for some more direction. All right, thank you.
So I'd like to make a motion to table this application for 1 month.
Second.
Can you please call roll?
King,
Yes.
Masterson,
Yes.
Thibodeau,
Yes.
Ali,
Yes. Abstain, sorry.
motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're the one working on the new sign. Okay.
Sir, could I please close the meeting?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I thought I should close. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm a fast.
Is there any other business coming before the board? Hearing none, I adjourn the meeting.
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
here.